there is a lot of discussion around pre-literacy and a huge expectation that children are reading either before or once they get to prep. So tell me, Teagan, what is pre-literacy? Let's start there.
Pre-literacy is basically all the skills that aren't reading. So it talks about a group of skills that children need in order to learn how to read and spell and write. So it's not knowing the letters of the alphabet, it's not spelling, and it's not reading. Basically, it's a bunch of skills before that. It includes things like being able to hear that, or knowing that a word is made up of individual sounds.
Okay.
Because without that, those letters are useless. Yeah.
Okay.
If we can't hear at, when we see the letters CAT, we're not going to have a clue what to do with them or know how to even start with spelling. So this is why we have such a huge push on pre-literacy, because kids are getting to school, they're going at, I don't know what the word is.
Yeah.
We need to be able to break words up into individual sounds, but also push them back together so that when they do read at, they can put it together to get cat.
Okay.
It's also things like hearing syllables. We call them drum beats with little ones. And that's really important because when they're spelling bigger words, for us, we break those words up into smaller chunks and then we spell one little chunk at a time. So it's really important that kids can break a longer word up into the syllables so that when it comes time to spelling, they've got a method that they can do it. Things like rhyme is actually really useful as well. If there's a word that we don't know how to spell, we'll think of another word that sounds similar, and can we use the spelling that we know for the other word. So even though kids aren't spelling or reading, it's all these underlying skills like rhyme, syllables, sound awareness, that we can break words up into sounds, put them back together. It's also as simple as knowing which way to hold a book. And we start that with babies, that we hold a book this way and that we look on the left page, then the right, we turn this page this way. That's a pre-literacy skill. We start that with babies. The concept that there's a start and that there's an end of the book and it's all connected in between, that's a pre-literacy skill. It's also being able to hear that a sentence is made up of individual words. Because when we talk, we don't say one word at a time, which is what it looks like on paper.
Unless you are a university lecturer. No.
Or your child is in trouble. So when we're talking, it's actually a continuous stream of sound. So children need to actually be able to break that continuous stream of sound up into the individual words, and then those words into individual sounds. So that's pre-literacy. It's everything that we need before reading and spelling.
Love it. So what pre-literacy skills do children need to have before they start prep?
That awareness of sounds within words. So we might, they might start pointing out things like that another word has the same sound as their name. So what's your little boy's name?
Sean.
Sean. So he might be talking about the sheep.
Yes.
Doesn't have that Shaun the Sheep's a movie, but he might say sheep. Hey, my name starts with sh as well.
Yeah.
Those sorts of things. We don't need to talk about the S and the H. If you spell with SH.
No.
No.
Just make it difficult.
Yes, just to make things difficult for
he
him.
often says, yes, snake. I have an S in my name.
Exactly.
Like snake.
Yeah. Those sorts of things. So the big M, the McDonald's, the Golden Marches, they start to recognise that, and they might say, hey, in a book, they might say, hey, that's the M like the McDonald's, or that's the same one.
Yeah.
So they're recognising, matching things in different places. They might also, if they come across a word that they're struggling to say, like helicopter's a very popular one. My little says hata hota until we step it out a little bit more. It sounds more like helicopter. But, we drum the words out and helicopter. They can usually join in with that at least.
Oh, nice.
If we're stepping those words out, those longer words. They might also point out rhyme, especially when you're reading a book.
Yes.
So any of the
Dr.
doctors
is good for that.
Yes. I was just going to say that. And it is book week.
Yes.
As we're filming. So really good time. So pointing out words that rhyme, and they'll often tell you, hey, that sounds like my name. Sam, Pam. So if they come across someone else, Pam or something, that sounds like my name. It's a little bit different. That's that awareness of rhyme. They're not going to be calling it rhyme, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But they're hearing it and they're recognising it.
Yes.
It's important.
I love it.
So they usually got that awareness of sounds and words and sentences, rhyme and syllables are the big things.
Okay, so what are some things that we can do at home to help
Yeah, pointing it out. So, when you're reading your books, pointing out that S. Hey, that's an S like in your name. But this time it says S. Sometimes it says
Yes.
like in your name. So having those discussions. Another really big thing is kids don't actually realise, and I love this, but they don't realise how we know what we know. So when we're cooking, they think we're just these brilliant chefs who don't need instructions. I'm not. I need my recipe and I have to follow it to a T. So pointing out when you're doing things like that, like, okay, let me have a look at my recipe. Okay, this tells me I need to get, let's have a look, 1 cup of flour. Okay, let's get 1 cup of flour, put that one in. Okay, what's next? Let me see. I'll read it. It's telling me that I need 2. So we're showing them how we're referring to text to get information, because we need them to want to read and want to learn how to do these things. So pointing out that you are reading instructions. When you build stuff together, the wonderful flat packs, and they're going to help, and it's great fun. Talk about how you're referring to those instructions. Okay, let's have a look what the instructions say. They tell me we need to get this. Okay, let's get that one ready. So pointing out when you are referring to instructions, maps,
Shopping lists.
recipes, shopping lists, the little ones that come in the codes.
To-do lists.
To-do lists. Let's have a look what's next on my list. Those little things, pointing out that you are reading to get information.
Okay.
It's great that they think we just know everything, but it's also really helpful that they understand that we are reading to get information.
I love it. So what are some things to look out for?
If your little ones, so we're talking about getting ready for school, if there's, one of the biggest risk factors actually is speech sound errors. Children who have speech sound errors will usually have difficulties with their preliteracy skills. They're very, very closely related. So speech sound errors, get on top of those, definitely. But if you're, if they're not showing any interest in sounds, if you're trying to tap things out, or you're talking about the first sounds and words and it's just going straight over in one ear and out the other, and then it's not grasping it, or if you're trying to tap sounds out and they've sort of got no idea what's happening, no idea what to do, it's worth even just a couple of appointments with a speech pathologist so we can give a few more strategies and resources to implement into your everyday routine. Biggest thing though, speech sounds is the biggest risk factor. If you're finding when you're trying these games at home, they're just not getting
working.
it. Or once they're in school, if they're struggling with their literacy, the teacher will tell you.
Yes.
And a speechy can be a really good place to start with that.
So there you have it. If your child is struggling with their pre-literacy and all those things that Teagan just said, it may be a sign that something's not quite right. So if you have any concerns at all, don't hesitate to get into contact with Talk Time Speech and Language Pathology today.